Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about the general flow for each week. So this class is based around the week. So Monday to Sunday is when basically we're going to have a topic that we're covering, and assignments made, things assigned during a week are generally due at that end of that week at Sunday 11:59 p.m. I've got on here, this is the general flow for the class. Things in red here are differences for MBA or master's students for people's taking Management 5007. So I'll highlight them briefly during this video. I've also added another MBA focused video that does say, hey, these are what they are. So I'll go in a little more detail on those areas there. Just note the things in red are related to the MBA and master's students. If you're an undergrad, don't worry about it. So what does a week look like in this class? Well, firstly, this is an asynchronous class. So there's no live time that we're all together. Rather, you have a lot of flexibility in how you go about doing when you do assignments during the week itself. Now, as I said, the assignments are due by the end of the week. But if you want to do them Monday, if you want to do them Wednesday, if you want to do them Friday, that's okay. And so you do have some elements of that. Now, for the discussion questions, I do recommend you do them earlier in the week because we're going to be trying to talk about these topics, learn from each other. And we can't do that if everybody posts 2 minutes before the deadline on Sunday. So please at least get your response in early in the week, Monday or Tuesday, and check back on what other people have posted. And so that we get a good discussion going, and that's how we learn on this area from each other. So what do we have with a week? Well, the first thing to probably look at a week is the intro video. So I'll have a video, less than 10 minutes each week, where I highlight some areas I think are particularly important, or I bring in an example that may be outside the textbook or readings, or I elaborate on something I think is particularly relevant. So depending on the week, we'll see that differently. But it's kind of a way to get you started on the week, thinking in the right direction. Now, the intro video on its own isn't everything you need. It's going to be more of an intro, getting you thinking about it, giving you example, with a lot of the learning and content coming from the readings. Now, the textbook has readings. There will also be additional readings as well. Some weeks you'll just be doing textbook readings. Some weeks you might be doing textbook and additional readings. And some weeks, as we cover topics not focused on, that are not in the actual textbook, you'll be doing just those supplemental readings instead. And so there's a whole bunch of different areas we can cover in HR. There's some that I think are important that the textbook doesn't get into, so we're going to cover them. And so every week you're going to want to early in the week read whatever those readings are, whether they're in the textbook or whether they're supplemental readings. I will have a folder that has the supplemental readings for that week when there are supplemental readings. So look for that in the week 3 folder. Look for the supplemental readings 1. You'll see the reading is there. Each week I also will have some slides that you can look at. They will basically be slides that will have words and images that kind of summarize some of the big points from the textbook or from my video, things that I think are important. There'll also be other content. This might be YouTube videos from wherever. We will have some sort of guest speakers in this class. So I did talk to and get involved some people that do research related to some of the topics we're going to talk about in this class. And I've asked them to highlight some of their research, some of the things they think are important in their particular area. So watch for those videos. They are being recorded for this class in particular. And they're people, researchers that I know that graciously have said that they're willing to help us all learn. So I'm very excited. I'm very thankful for them doing that. But so you'll see during weeks sometimes these videos, sometimes YouTube videos or other types of content. And so all those 4 things in a line there, they're essentially sort of the learning part. This is how I learn this material and get it. The rest of the assignments are often about more of that application part. Now, the types of assignments are going to vary by the week, but every week we will have a discussion board assignment. And so you'll be on the discussion board talking to each other about the topics of the week. I will provide questions related to this, and MBA students will end up providing some questions later on in the class as well. But the idea is we often learn best by sharing with each other our own examples, our own experiences, talking through these topics. And so for undergrads, you're going to have 3 or more posts on the discussion board each week. So you should be responding to the questions posed for the week by me or a facilitator if we have it for the week. But also part of it is going to be responding to other students and what they are talking about, the examples they're sharing. For MBA students, this is 4 posts a week versus 3. So do note that if you're MBA, everything on here in red is something for the MBA in that way. All assignments in this class are due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. of the week assigned, except for the final exam, which is due Tuesday 11:59 of finals week. And for MBA students, their facilitation, it's going to be due Thursday at 11:59 the week that it is the week before they're facilitating. And so for MBA students, you're going to be facilitating basically the discussion and learning for 1 week of the class. You'll be working in pairs, and that's going to include coming up with a discussion question as well as coming up with either a short video or slides based on academic journal article or blog post that's of a credible nature that's going to help add to the learning for that week. More of that in the MBA video. Don't worry about if you're an undergrad. So the discussions we're doing each week, you need to make comments and respond to people in ways that help build the discussion versus just saying, I agree, or good job. It needs to be taking what they said, building on it, asking questions. And you'll see that for most weeks, I'll give some advice. Okay, this is what we're going to be. This is one way you could respond or think about your response. Depending on the week, you'll also see these other types of assignments. We'll have 7 reflections. I think in a course that's about new technology and the future and thinking about what I could do or how I'll use it, reflections I think are very vital. And so when we talk about a topic of the week that maybe you haven't thought about before, I think reflections are a good way for you to really think about it more and how it might affect you. And so that's the reflections that we'll do. There'll be 7 of them during the semester. When they're due will be listed on the weekly folders as well as on the syllabus itself. Also important for learning is going to be applying what we've learned to situations, and that's what the case studies are about. We'll have 3 case studies at various points during the semester, and so they'll be talking about, okay, how would I apply what I've learned? How might what I've learned about telecommuting affect what I do here? How might I use Zoom in this case? How might I interact in the gig economy differently because of what I've learned? And so each of those is all application based. I think they're a good way to take those ideas and learn, basically apply them and therefore learn them better. We will also have 2 exams, a midterm exam, so tying together the elements of the class up to that point. And then a final exam that kind of tries to tie together the whole course. Both of these there'll be essay questions, and they will be based really about application on what's going on. And so you can look at the syllabus for due dates on that. They'll be listed as well. And for all assignments here, all these writings should be your own work. You should be the one writing the content, not taking other people's work or copying things online or getting a program to write it for you. Although we might talk about some of those their implications during the semester. I want your work and analysis of what's going on. And so all these assignments are going to be due Sunday 11:59 p.m. of the week assigned. And so again, you got flexibility of when you do them with, as I said, you want to do the discussion responses earlier in the week versus later for it to work. So this is the overall flow for the week. I make it consistent week to week so that it's understandable, so you can kind of plan ahead a little bit on what you are. So if you have questions or anything, do let me know on this. The syllabus does talk about each of these assignment types and all that in a bit more detail.